It's true. I am I am very opinionated. In fact, I'm quite the opinionated asshole. During my years of college, casual reading, independent research, web browsing, and extreme combative engagement in social media, I tend to share too much of my personal politics with just about everyone I know. There are conservatives and economic libertarians that I can engage with whereby there is mutual respect, even if we don't agree. If I were to turn away anybody because they have conservative politics that I disagree with, I would not have. I would cut my friends pretty much in 50% there would be pretty much maybe about I would say about 70% of the people in my family, um, quite a few people at church, um, or the workplace, or anywhere where I interact and have to deal with people. If I just write off anybody off who's to my right, whether they're slightly to my right or extremely to my right, and let's not count white nationalists. I will never befriend any of them. Not that kind of right. But I'm talking about normie Republicans, normie conservatives, that sort of thing. If I were to write off anybody who was to, uh, to my right at all, I mean, I would be a fairly lonely person in my life. Same thing with people to my left. If I were to write off every leftist that I disagree with, I will be a fairly lonely person on that end too. And before you say it, well, what are you, some kind of centrist? Absolutely not. Not with the American political Overton window. I am not a centrist. In fact, those are fighting words. I mean, honestly, you don't have to agree with me. Um, just hear what I have to say, and I likewise will do the same. I pride myself in being a thinker. And whatever side of the fence politically you reside on, if you're a free thinker, that goes a long way with me. But let's talk about the negativity. When I run across various vicious right wing partisan hacks, and sometimes even hardcore leftists, as mentioned before, who thinks that I'm too milquetoast in my politics, I can get pretty combative and pretty nasty. Whenever I hear, well, you don't like it here, you can move. Um, these people really think they won the argument when they tell me crap like that. As a First Amendment absolutist, I have every right to point out what's wrong about America and recommend changes. And whenever I'm told, usually by right wing types, to just simply move if you don't like the way things are here, well, this is my response. Yes, I favor things like the Medicare for all and things like the welfare state that exists in places like Norway, Sweden, Denmark, and places like that. With high unionization of the workforce, uh, long vacation times, uh, pension systems, where there is, I will argue, the American dream exists in Norway, Sweden, Denmark today. We don't have an American dream anymore. That's gone. I hear them say, well, you could just move out of here. Now, a lot of these people are extreme social reactionaries. Uh, the kind of people that would oppose same-sex marriage. And my response is that and these are right wingers who hate my economics, and these people who are opposed to same-sex marriage. I'll tell them, well, you can go move to Saudi Arabia. In Saudi Arabia, same-sex marriages are illegal. Worse, even reproductive rights are compromised, and there's plenty of religion in the public square. Well, so you see how it works. I mean, honestly, I would say that even people that I disagree with most politically on the right, if they are concerned about the same sex marriage and the reproductive rights and religion in the public life and foreign policy or tax policies or any political issue around, and they want to seek change, they have a right to seek change. I have a right to stop them at the ballot box, as they have a right to stop me at the ballot box. In this American experiment, people have points of views and people have an idea of change that they would like to seek and have implemented. And it's part of who we are as Americans to advocate what we advocate. We have a right to advocate this. Telling me that socialism is un-American, socialism is against the Constitution, socialism is evil. I mean, you know, I mean, take a political science course. Now, I don't have a problem with people who are anti-socialists in the sense that they have an intellectual argument against it. In fact, I'm actually engaging in such dialogue myself with a friend of mine from college that we don't see eye to eye, mostly on economics. On some social issues, this person's a libertarian and I am a civil libertarian. So we're going to overlap on some social issues where there's going to be a degree of social liberalism that we're going to be okay with, and this person's good on foreign policy too. We we have the same kind of outlook on these issues, but on things like unions and healthcare and things like that. Again, I don't fault this person for disagreeing with me, and even you know very smart guy, but misinterprets what socialism is. I have another person. I won't mention that name. Somebody I used to work with in a previous job, telling me to move out of this country. This person, she thinks Joe Biden is a socialist, um, and this person, and I thinks that that I'm a nut or I'm a dumbo for believing in what I believe in. And always telling me, well, if you don't like it, you can move here. Well, this person, I told her if she doesn't like gay marriage, move to Saudi Arabia and see how that works. So, the difference is, you know, Sweden is a much better and enlightened place than Saudi Arabia. So, just you're not going, I mean, this whole thing about telling people to move out because you disagree with them. That I mean, the First Amendment was there for right of assembly, for your right to speak your mind, and to make your position known to people. It was a right for freedom of the press. It guarantees freedom of religion, and it also guarantees you freedom from religion if you don't want it in your life. So the thing about it is that when I run across some of these people that lecture me to get out of here if you don't like it the way it is, I could say the same thing to the other person. Now, I don't want to sound like Dave Rubin about the battle of ideas because Dave Rubin's kind of concept of the battles of ideas is I am this pretend sane liberal and somebody as odious as Steven Crowder or Ben Shapiro could come on his stupid, silly studio and bark their right wing stupidity, and they would be like, "I agree." Shut up, Dave Rubin. Shut up. But the thing about it is that I do believe in engaging, and I do believe in battles of ideas. To and if something is common sense related, I'm all open for it. I'm not in a tight little box with my ideology. I mean, I am for the most part, probably a good 95% of what I believe. I am a bit rigid on and everything because I know I'm correct. I know I'm right. I mean, I got empirical evidence to back this up. Um, so when I hear people say socialism is evil, socialism is responsible for the death of 100 million people during the 20th century, A, that wasn't socialism. B, capitalism killed a lot of people too. And C, there's a difference between socialism and communism for which they're referring to. And even D, not all individual communists are evil. There are individual communists that have actually contributed to the good of of our planet in the 20th century. Like for example, the Communist Party in the United States, working for civil rights at a time when even the Socialist Party of America um, were not as enthused about it. And we're talking about now individual members of the Socialist Party of America. There were plenty of people that work for civil rights on behalf of the Socialist Party of America. That's not to be disputed, but I would say that on when it came to racial equality issues, the Communist Party USA objectively were better on this question than the Socialist Party of America, a political party that I ideologically aligned myself with the Socialist Party of America from 1901 to 1972. We have a pretty good, I'm saying we because I was never a member of the Socialist Party of America. I've been in the Socialist Party USA and Democratic Socialists of America, but I was never a member of the Socialist Party of America. But I see the world through the eyes of the old Socialist Party of America, the party of Eugene Debs and Norman Thomas. And we do have a civil rights movement to be proud of too, and we did a lot, but the CPUSA did more, objectively speaking. I can tell you a lot of areas where the CPUSA went extremely wrong, but that was not one of them. But my point I'm trying to make is that there are individuals in all these movements that have contributed to a lot of good. So when I hear people talk about slamming on the left as if the left, um, everything that's related to the left is a halt against all that is good in our world and our civilization, they couldn't be more wrong. Um, God, as I said, as a democratic socialist, as a social democrat, and I think they're one and the same, by the way, somebody who's opposed to the authoritarian right and the authoritarian left by large measures. The empirical evidence shown that in predominantly Western Europe after World War II, and many other societies around the world, in the first world and in the third world, that have experimented with things like universal health care and experimented things like expanding the labor union force over the whole population, workforce population, have actually enhanced the quality of life of individuals and working families in those societies. All the progress has been made in response to a lot of areas of human rights. So I get very defensive and very combative almost daily with a little chip on my shoulder because I frankly don't like to be called evil. When I'm not saying I'm individually a good person, not saying that at all. but I don't like the evil allegation being thrown at me. Now, I tend to be critical of other ideologies other than my own, even though I do believe in their rights to practice what they believe and advocate what they believe. But I have my criticism of other ideologies. But I try to give people the benefit of the doubt in these individual ideologies, whether they're communist or whether they're standard conservative or libertarian or whatever ideology around. Um, I do have perimeters, and fascism. I absolutely detest fascism. All forms of racism, all forms of anti-Semitism, homophobia, all of that. Sexism, everything that all exists because of fascism, whether it's fascism in the West, fascism in the Islamic world. I'm not Muslim bashing. I'm just saying the reactionary elements that exist in society. So I'm not a cultural relativist. I think that you can find a good and bad in all societies. But I'm just saying that what exists around the world, um, I get combative when my tribe is attacked, and I get a little defensive. And that side of me was brought out this morning. I do have a little bit of temper, and sometimes when the attack is, it's like a line that's drawn, and I could be ugly, and I mean, like, emotionally ugly. I mean, physically ugly. I'm already there. Can't do anything about physical ugliness. I mean, I look like I hit every ugly branch down the ugly tree. But I digress. And that's just basically what I have to say this morning. So if you like what you heard, press like and comment. If you dislike what you heard, well, just comment anyway. Feel free to share the content on this channel. As the First Amendment absolutist, it's my duty to inform you that if you have a platform, please utilize it because we're the muckrakers of our time. We really are. And hit that subscribe button, that notification bell, so you're kept up to date with my ramblings and point of view about the world. And until next time, I am American Social Democracy. Peace and class struggle yesterday, today, tomorrow, until we have full economic and social justice for all.